we are reading from the second canto. So there are 12 cantos. So we are reading from the second canto and the first chapter and the verse number 6. So if you have mobile phones and Google, so you can just type on Google SV 2.1.6. Okay. Everyone got it? Okay, I can recite it and you can repeat after me. Okay. Etavan sankhya-yogabhyam swadharma parinishtam janmalabha punsam param punsam ante narayana smriti etavan sankhya-yogabhyam swadharma parinishthaya janmalabha param punsam ante narayana smriti etavan sankhya-yogabhyam swadharma parinishthaya janmalabha param punsam ante narayana smriti. Anybody would like to recite?
Etavan sankhya-yogabhyam swadharma parinishthaya janmalabha parah pumsam ante narayana smritihi.
Etavan sankhya-yogabhyam
swadharma parinishthaya janmalabha param punsam ante narayana smriti. Okay, so we'll read word by word translation. Etavan, all these, Sankhya, complete knowledge of matter and spirit, Yogabhyam, knowledge of mystic power, Swadharma, particular occupational duty, Parinishthaya, by full perception, Janma, birth, Labha, gain, Paraha, the supreme, Pumsam, of a person, Ante, at the end, Narayana, the personality of Godhead, Smriti, remembrance. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. The highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. Purport: Narayana is the transcendental personality of Godhead beyond the material creation. Everything that is created, sustained, and at the end annihilated is within the compass of Mahatattva, material principle, and is known as a material world. The existence of Narayan or the personality of Godhead is not within the jurisdiction of this Mahatattva, and as such the name, form, attribute, etc. of a Narayan are beyond the jurisdiction of the material world. By the speculation of empiric philosophy, which discerns matter from spirit, or by cultivation of mystic power, which ultimately helps the performer to reach any planet of the universe, or beyond the universe, or by discharge of religious duty, one can achieve the highest perfection, provided one is able to reach the stage of Narayan Smriti or a constant remembrance of personality of Godhead. This is possible only by association of pure devotee who can give a finishing touch to the transcendental activities of all jnanis, yogis or karmis in terms of prescribed duty defined in the scripture. There are many historical instances of the achievement of spiritual perfection, such as that of Sankandi rishis or the 9 celebrated Yogendras, who attain perfection only after being situated in the devotional service of the Lord. None of the devotees of the Lord ever deviated from the path of devotional service by taking to other methods as adopted by jnanis or yogis. Everyone is anxious to achieve the highest perfection of his particular activity, and it is indicated herein that such perfection is Narayan Spiti, for which everyone must endeavor his best. In other words, life should be molded in such a manner that one is able to progressively remember the personality of Godhead in every step of life. Hare Krishna. So basically, we completed the first canto, so which defined the whole set, like setting the scene of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we started with the Srimad Bhagavatam from the second canto basically. So from the second canto start the creation, how the creation is happening and everything. Okay. So in this verse particularly, so the Parikshit Maharaj asked the question to Sukdev Goswami. So what is the question in the earlier verses? So what is the duty of the person who is about to die? Right. So like everyone dies, right, at some particular time of life. But what is our duty when we are supposed to die? Right. So that is first question of Parikshit Maharaj. So who was the king 5,000 years back, and he asked this question to Sukdev Goswami. He was like one of the renowned saint. Okay. So this was his first question. The second question was, what is the duty of the person throughout his life at every stage of his life? Very genuine question, right? Like, what should I do at the time of death? What should be my duty? And what should be my duty throughout my life? What should I do so that like I can fulfill my life, right? So every one of us has this question, like like what should I do in my life, right? So should I take mechatronics? Should I take mechanical? Should I take like which subject should I take? Right? IT. Right? So everyone has this question, right? So the Parikshit Maharaj, so he's at the end of his life, he's asking this question: what is the duty of the person who is about to die? Because he got a curse that in 7 days and 7 nights, one snake bird will come and he will bite him and he will die basically. So that was his curse. So that's why it is important for him to know what should be his duty when he will die, right? So basically, he's trying to teach us what should we do as a human being. So through his example, he's teaching us, right? So in this verse, so there are different different philosophies or different paths are suggested by Sukdev Goswami. So the one path is called as Sankhya, the Sankhya philosophy. So anybody know what is Sankhya?
To differentiate between matter and spirit.
Right. Okay.
To analyze matter,
Yeah.
like there are 24 elements.
Yeah. So Sankhya means analysis of spirit and matter. Okay. The analysis of material and spiritual. Right. The analysis of body and soul. Right. So basically, body is made up of 5 material elements. Anybody knows what are the 5 material elements?
Earth, fire, water, ether,
Air.
Air.
So this gross body or the material body is made up from 5 gross elements, right? So earth, air, water, fire, and ether, right? So when we will die, so our body will merge into all these 5 elements basically, right? And the soul is a spiritual, right? So soul is a part and parcel of Supreme Lord, and it is Satchidananda. Satchidananda means it is eternal, then it is blissful, and it is full of knowledge. So our soul has like always happy, right? It is not like our self that we get distress or we are in stress or depression, but the soul is all the time, it is eternal, so that it will never die. Then it is full of knowledge, so he has a full knowledge of the existence and everything, and it is always happy. Right? So that is the nature of the soul. Right? So the aim of the Sankhya is to remember Krishna at the time of death. Right? So even though we do all the analysis, but what is the aim? To remember Krishna at the time of death. Right? So the second thing here, the Sukadeva Goswami is trying to say is the yoga. Right? How many of you do yoga? Nice. But have you heard of yoga? Yeah. So what is your understanding of yoga?
It's to connect with your soul at the same time maintain your physical body.
Okay. What about you?
Relaxation of the body, easing your mind.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So basically, yoga. So if you see, generally now yoga become popular in all over the world as a way to making our body healthy or make us calm and cool, right? So, but the real purpose of yoga, in a real yoga, there are 8 stages. Okay. Anybody know what are the 8 stages in Ashtanga yoga?
Yama,
I do.
Niyama, Pratyahar, Pranayam, Asan, Dhyan, Samadhi, Pratishtha. Oh, I don't know. Wait, the one. Yes. Barabar.
Yeah. So I'll tell one by one. So the first one is called as Yama. Okay. Yama means social ethics. Okay. When let's say you are practicing yoga, so you should follow this 8 paths. So one is called as Yama or a social ethics. So it considers 5 aspects. So one is called as Ahimsa, that means kindness to everyone or non-violence. Then Satya, that means truthfulness. You should be truthful. Astheya, that is non-stealing, like physically or mentally. Then Brahmacharya, that is moderation, doing everything in moderation, or celibacy. Or a Parigraha, that means generosity. Okay, so that is like social ethics, that is called as Yama. Then second one is called as Niyama. Niyama means personal practices. Niyam means basically rules, direct translation of the Niyam is rules, right? So the personal ethics or a personal practices for self. So it consider Swachha, that means cleanliness or a purity. Santosh, that means contentment or a satisfaction. Then Ishvara, tapas, that is means austerity, like doing austerity, like many people go to Himalaya, they do austerities there. In a summer they sit under fire, and around them there is fire. They do a lot of austerities, right? They don't eat for many years, right? They keep their one leg on this here for like 10 years, and after they remove their leg, still it is like there. Right? So people do a lot of austerities, right? So that is considered in personal practices or niyam. Then Swadhyaya, this means self-study, okay? And Ishvara Pranidhana, that means surrender to the Lord, okay? So these are the first 2, that is Yam Niyama. And third one is called as Asana or posture, so which is mostly popular in all over the world, right? So doing postures of yoga, like you are doing like cat pose, cow pose, cobra pose, that means people they say that, oh, I am doing yoga, right? So they are just doing one petal of yoga, right? So that is not yoga actually. So it is just, of course, it is part of yoga, but it is, they just consider it as an exercise for bodily, satisfaction. The fourth one is called as pranayam. The pranayam means the mindful breathing. So also this is also quite popular all over the world. Okay. Then fourth one is called as pratyahara. Pratyahara means turning inward, like understanding yourself, self-realizing. The sixth one is called as dharana, or a concentration, or a focus and attention. Basically concentrating on some object or something. Okay. The seventh one is dhyana, basically that you missed. So dhyana means deconcentration or dropping all the efforts and letting go. means like you have to detach from everything that is around you and then just focusing on one thing. Okay, and the last one is the samadhi, or a pure base, constant complete harmony with the self and the universe, right? So this is the ultimate aim of the yoga basically. So but people just stop at a stage of the posture and breathing, but the yoga is far beyond what we conceive. Okay, so the whole purpose of doing yoga is that like you remember Krishna or the Supreme Lord at the time of death, right? So if you don't remember, then it's a waste of time, right? So many yogis, they do a lot of austerities, and also it's very important the way you live your body, right? So sometimes this yogi achieve through their austerities this capability that they can live body at a certain time of the day and certain way. For example, like if you want to go to heaven, right? So they will decide the time at what time they want to leave the body, and that's how they will leave the body, right? So like if you go to YouTube and if you type Mahasamadhi, okay, so you'll get many videos of Buddhist monks who are leaving their body, right? So there are so many instances like where the great saints have left their body through the yogic practices, right? So that is one. But again, like if you mismatch the time, you might go to wrong destination. So that's why it's very important to leave the body at a certain time and at a in a certain condition, so that you will go to your desired destination, right? And with the yoga also you can get rid of cycle of birth and death, and you can go out of this universe to the planet of the God, right? So once you go to the planet of the God, you will not come back in this material world, right? Because this material world, there is a lot of suffering, right? Everyone is suffering through a lot of issues of birth, death, old age, and disease, right? So first we discuss about Sankhya, the second we discuss about yoga, and third we are discussing the third thing that Sukdev Goswami writes is occupational duty, right? So what is occupational duty?
That we are doing like Swadharma, right?
Yeah.
Varnashrama dharma.
Right. So occupational duty means like varnashrama, right? So what are the four varnas? So the four varnas are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, right? So whether you are like Brahmana means the intellectual class, Kshatriya means administration class, Kshatriya means administration class, Vaishya means the what do you call it? Business class, and Shudra means the working class, right? So in Kali Yuga, basically everyone is Shudra because most of them are like working class, right? So whether you are a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, so whatever duty you perform throughout your life, but the aim of doing your duty is to remember Krishna at the time of death, right? Doesn't matter which ashram or which varna you are in, the only purpose is remembering Krishna at the time of death, right? So then Parikshit Maharaj says that, so whether you follow Sankhya, whether you follow yoga, or whether you follow this occupational duty, so you have to remember Krishna at the time of death, right? But he says that the best way of achieving this goal is to practice Bhakti Yoga, right? So the Bhakti Yoga means the pure devotional service unto the Krishna, right? Anybody know anybody heard Bhakti Yoga before? No, not yet. You heard Bhakti Yoga or devotional service? Okay. So when you let me ask some questions. When you see a God, what kind of relationship you want with the God, or do you believe in God? First question.
Yes.
Okay. So like when you see the God, what do you think about God, or what relation you have with the God?
Well, for me, I think it's more of a trust than anything else.
Okay.
Mm.
For you?
I believe it's going God is just like a higher entity and that is responsible for everything that is happening.
Okay. So he is the supreme controller.
Yes, I think He is everything.
Okay. He is omnipotent,
Yeah.
omniscient. Okay. What do you think, Paul Prabhu?
My relation to
Yeah.
yeah, so as I learned it in Prabhupada's books, I'm as a servant and he is my master.
Okay, right. So we all are servants. So basically, so the devotional service is defined by Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto. The Prabhupada writes in the 7th canto in his purport, 7.5.23 and 24. So he writes, what is the definition of devotional service? One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities for material profit or gain. I messed up. So one should render the transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation, that is called as pure devotional service. One should simply satisfy Krishna without being influenced by the fruitive knowledge or fruitive activities. Right. So in a simple term, so devotional service is considered as which is unmotivated and uninterrupted. Right. So what is the meaning of unmotivated?
Without any material motives to.
Okay. And what is uninterrupted?
Without any break.
Break. Right. So the unmotivated means, as you said, let's say you are loving your mother, right? Or your mother is loving you. So she doesn't have any motivation to love you, right? So whatever she is doing for you, she is doing without any motivation, right? Until unless she is your stepmother. So whatever she is doing, whatever your mother is doing, so she is doing out of love for you, right? Like all the activities, cooking for you, then cleaning and everything. So she is doing for you out of love, right? So she is not motivated by any desire, right? So similarly, the devotional service is called as unmotivated service. That means it should not be motivated by any desire, right? Because the people go to God for all the things, right? Like give me, large bungalow, right? Give me a big wealth, make me a CEO, right? Give me the most beautiful wife in the universe, right? So people go to God for anything, right? But you should not go to God for anything. So that's called as unmotivated, right? And it is called as uninterrupted, right? Uninterrupted means what? So you are loving someone, so you are like serving him today, but tomorrow something happens, you are not serving them, right? And again your mood change now, and day after tomorrow again you are serving them, right? So that means there is no continuity of love, there is no continuity of service. So that is not called as a devotional service, right? So when you love someone, irrespective of their mood or circumstances, you love the person, right? So similarly, the devotional service is called as uninterrupted. That means you have such love for the Supreme Lord Krishna that irrespective of any situation, you are loving him, right? Not like, when you are in good mood or when you are frustrated, that time only, you are loving him, you are coming to temple, you are crying in front of him. So that's not a loving devotional service. That's just a trading, right? Or some selfish relationship. So the pure devotional service is called as unmotivated and uninterrupted service. Okay, and it is the best way of achieving the goal of life. That is, remembering Krishna at the time of death, right? So that's how the Parikshit Maharaj is answering this question. So what is what Parikshit Maharaj asked the question? What is the duty of the person at the time of death? Doing devotional service so that he can remember Krishna at the time of death, right? And what was second question?
During the lifetime, what is the duty of?
Yeah. So what is the duty of a person throughout the lifetime? So the duty of the person throughout the lifetime is, performing devotional service unto the Lord. Right? So that's how the Sukdev Goswami answered the question like answer to the question by Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, so but you might be wondering, like how to do the devotional service, right? Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki
Jai.
Gaur Nitai ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki. So the question is how to do the devotional service, right? So what is the devotional service? Is like unmotivated and uninterrupted service. But how can I love God, right? So this is very genuine question. So in the 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj says that. So how to love God? So he quotes this verse. So there are 9 processes of devotional service. Okay. So what are the 9 processes? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smarnam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Okay. So the 9 processes are Shravanam means is hearing about the God of the Supreme Lord. Then Kirtanam means chanting the glories and His holy names. Okay. Smarnam means remembering about the God. Okay. Vandanam means the Pada Sevanam means serving His lotus feet. Then Archana means doing the deity worship, like doing the worship of the Lord. Vandanam means offering the obeisances to the Lord. Dasyam means like considering oneself the servant of the Lord. Okay. Sakya means being the most well-wishing friend of the Lord. Then Atma Nivedan means offering everything to the Lord and surrendering to the Lord, like giving your the body, then words and mind to the Lord. So it's called as Atma Nivedan. Okay. So we'll just discuss shortly about only the 3 things, that is Shravanam, Kirtanam and Smarnam. We'll more focus on Smarnam, that is how can we remember Krishna at the time of death. So we'll discuss about some of the examples from the scripture. Okay. So Shravanam means hearing the holy name of the Lord is the beginning of the devotional service, right? So when we hear about something, right, so we get a curiosity to know more about that person or the thing, right? So if I more hear about America, right, there is like New York, then there is I don't know about New York actually. So there is Wall Street and there is like big buildings. The more I hear about New York, the more desire I'll get that I want to go and visit to New York, right? So the more we hear about the Supreme Lord, so the more desire we will have to know about Supreme Lord, right? And so more we hear, so more we can focus on the form of the Lord, right? Because like until unless we know about the Lord, we cannot meditate on the form of the Lord. We cannot see the Lord, right? Even with our eyes, right? So the first one is called as hearing or Shravanam, right? The second one is called as Kirtanam. So Kirtanam means chanting the glories of the Lord. Okay. So the chanting doesn't mean only the chanting the name of the Lord. Chanting means even like giving class or glorifying the Lord with words. So this is also called as chanting, right? Chanting means the speaking about the God basically. Okay. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu basically who came 500 years back. So he said like we should chant in a humble state of mind, like a blade of grass, considering oneself from lower than a blade of grass, tolerant than a tree. Like trees are so tolerant, right? Like right now there is like quite cold, the rain is there is raining, and there is a lot of dust. Still they are standing there, right? They are not complaining, right? They don't have their winter coat on, right? Still they are tolerating everything, right? So similarly we should tolerate everything that is coming our way, and then we should try to focus on the holy names. And one should not be desire for the honor, should not desire respect from anybody else, and should give respect to everyone. So in that state one should chant the holy name, then one can remember Krishna, and that's how we can clean our heart, right? So our heart has a lot of impurities. So when we focus on the chanting, so we can clean our heart, and that's how we can remember Krishna, right? So first stage is called as hearing, second is called as chanting or Shravanam Kirtanam, and the third stage is called as Smarnam, right? So Smaranam means after performing, so what in the purport Prabhupada writes, after one regularly perform process of hearing and chanting, and after core of one's heart is cleansed, Smaranam, remembering is recommended. Right? So once you cleanse your heart, so by hearing and chanting, then you can remember Krishna. Else it is very difficult to remember Krishna because there are so many impurities in your heart that it is very difficult to remember Krishna. Forget about at the time of death. Right? So I'll tell you one story. So a few days back, I think few months back maybe, one story was circulating on WhatsApp. Right? I think you also read in your class, one of the class before Rath Yatra. So that day we did Mahaklini, if you remember. So there was one lady, so she is from ISKCON only, and she was practicing devotional service for last, I think 20 to 30 years, something like this. And somehow she got some disease, and she was in the hospital for like many months. And she was narrating, like unfortunately, by the grace of the God, she got recovered, and then she was sharing her story. Like when I was on a bed in the hospital, I couldn't able to remember Krishna. Even she was sick, I was remembering all my childhood, what my mother did for me and everything, but I couldn't able to remember Krishna. Can you imagine, after doing the devotional service for 20 to 30 years, still she couldn't able to remember Krishna at the time of death, because she was like maybe attached to the her family, her mother, her childhood, that all the thoughts that are attached, her mind is attached to, all were coming into her mind, right? So that's why it is very important, until unless we clean ourselves by hearing and chanting, it's very difficult to remember Krishna at the time of death. Right? So the chanting and hearing and chanting is so important. Right? So you want to know, like I wrote down, so you want to know what are the 5 melos or relationship in which you can remember? So I can just read. So it is in the 7th canto again, so I took from that. So according to the different relationship and melos, 5 kinds of remembering are there, okay? So first one is called as conducting research into the worship of a particular form of the Lord, right? So that means like you are doing research. Let's say like someone, you are walking on the street and people are doing like Hare Krishna, they are doing kirtan, and you just go to Google and you start searching about who is Krishna, and everything. So basically that is one of the activities. So that is one is called as conducting research into the worship of a particular form of the Lord, okay? The second one is called as concentrating the mind on the one subject and withdrawing the mind's activities of thinking, feeling and willing from all the subject. That means like our mind is always want to focus on something, right? So when it is focusing on wrong things, we call it as distracted or disturbance, right? Because the nature of mind is to focus on meditate. But if it doesn't meditate on the right thing, we call it as I'm so disturbed, right? But mind is focusing, but it is focusing on the things that I want to focus. I don't want to focus, right? So the second remember is called as I'm focusing mind on something, object, and I'm withdrawing all the activities of mind. So mind has a 3 function. That is, it does the thinking, then the feeling and willing, right? So if you see, like all the desires comes with thinking. You start thinking about something, then you you start feeling about it. All the emotion rush through in your body, your mind, and then you want to do it. That is willing, right? So these are the 3 functions of the mind. Then third one is called concentrating upon the particular form of the Lord. That is called as meditation. Like you are meditating on some form of the Lord. Okay. The fourth one is called as concentrating one's mind continuously on the form of the Lord. Perfect meditation. Like you are doing it continuously. That is called as perfect meditation. And the last one is called as awakening a liking for concentration or particular form. It is also called as samadhi or trance. That means like once you are in samadhi, you don't have to take any effort to focus on the form of the Lord. So automatically it happens, because like you have such a liking or you have taste that you don't have to take any effort. Okay. So these are the 5 things or 5 ways you can remember the Lord. Okay, and the mental concentration upon particular form is also called remembrance, right? And the trance of the devotees on the stage of neutrality is called the mental concentration. So basically, you can have any kind of relationship. Okay, so that is also called as remembrance. So based on your mood and your melos and relationship, so anything is good. Okay, so we'll take some examples from our scripture. So how the people they remember Krishna and how they went back to Godhead. Okay, so let's take
For that, I have a small question. Like, what shall happen if we remember Krishna at the time of death? And if we don't remember, then what will happen? And what we have to clean from our heart to practice bhakti?
Should we take this at the end, or you want to answer?
Whatever is.
Yeah, maybe end we'll take it then. Okay. So we'll take some examples from the scriptures. Okay. So let's take some examples from the demons. Okay, like even they are like demon, like there are two personalities, right, everywhere. So one is called as divine, or the godly form, or a godly, creatures, or the second one is called as demons. Okay, so in the like in our past there are so many demons who came. Okay, and just by meditating on the form of the Lord, they got a liberation, right? So first one is called as Ravana. So anybody know Ramayana? You might have heard, right? Yeah. So the Ramayana, basically the Ravana was a demon, and all the time he was meditating on the Lord Ram, right? So because like he kidnapped his wife, and when he kidnapped his wife, he was always afraid, like when Lord Ram will come and when he will kill him, right? So since all the time he was meditating on the form of the Lord, when he was killed by the Lord Ram, he went to like he got this form of the, like he went to Godhead basically. Of course, like he took two more incarnation, one more incarnation, but after that he went to Godhead, right? So this is one of the story. Okay, so the second story is nothing but the offer Kansa. Okay, so Kansa is one of the demon, and Krishna is his nephew, right? So basically, Kansa wanted to kill his nephew, and he sent so many toys, to play with Krishna. So what are the toys? Like big demons. And Krishna used to play with those toys, and he killed all or broke all his toys. And he was the Kansa was always anxious, like because like he got this what you call prophecy that okay, the 8th son of his sister will kill him. So all the time he was thinking about that 8th son who will kill him, right? And just because he was thinking of Krishna all the time throughout his life, he got liberation. When Krishna killed him, the moment he got liberation. Okay, so that is second example. And the third example is of Shishupal. So Shishupal was a cousin of Krishna. Okay, and Shishupal was very envious of Krishna. Why? Because like when Shishupal was supposed to marry his fiance, Krishna kidnapped his wife, like his fiance. Like there was a fierce battle happened between Shishupal, Jarasandh and everything, and Krishna defeated everything, and Krishna took his wife, took his fiance Rukmini, and then he brought her to Dwarka. So then like when Shishupal was defeated, like Jarasandha became philosopher, and he was giving the knowledge to him, like the failure and success and failure are part of life, don't worry. I also got defeated from Krishna like 16 times, but one time I defeated him. So Jarasandha become like saintly person, and he was like giving knowledge to Shishupal. Don't worry, one day you will get one day you will win again. So he was like counseling Shishupal. So basically Shishupal was very envious of Krishna since that incident, and before that also. So what happened in a Rajsuya Yajna? So there was a big sacrifice that is performed by Yudhishthir Maharaj. So in a Rajsuya Yajna, basically Yudhishthir Maharaj decided to give first honor to Lord Krishna. But this Shishupal couldn't able to accept it, and he started blaspheming Lord Krishna, right? With his words and with his relationship with his devotees, and how he kidnapped the Rukmini Devi and everything. So that's how everyone started moving because they because of the blaspheming Lord Krishna. So then Lord Krishna got his Sudarshan Chakra, that's a disc, and he cut his throat from his body. And that's how, since all his life he was just meditating on the form of Krishna, so he got a liberation, right? So just by killing, since he killed from the form of the Lord, from the Lord, he got a liberation. And when he was killed, a very effulgent light or a soul comes from the body of Shishupal, and that merged into the body of Lord Krishna, right? So basically it seems that for Mayavadis means the people who thinks that everything is one. The ultimate goal of the life is a merging into the Supreme Lord, right? So the fact is that through the merging into the Lord, the soul of Shishupal went home back to Godhead, because in his original form they are like Jai Vijay, that is the door keepers of the Lord. Okay, so because of the curse of the Kumaras, they got into this material world, and they got a boon that they will be killed from the hand of the Lord, and that's how they went home back to Godhead. Right? So can we see, even if we are envious toward Lord, or we have very bad intention about God, still since they are only meditating about the Lord, still they went home back to Godhead, right? So can you imagine if we have a love for the God, then what would be our situation, right? So there is we need to think, right? Like if we love God, if we serve God, then of course we'll get a better benediction from the Lord, right? Even after even after being envious of the Lord, even if you try to kill the Lord, still you got a liberation, or you went home back to Godhead. Even if you just do the loving devotional service, you'll get so much benefit, right? So we'll just share some examples from the scripture. So one is the first example is Ma Sita, that is Mother Sita. So basically when when Ravana kidnapped her, and when she was in the Ashok Vatika, so she saw the two beautiful flowers. So one is greenish complexion, and the other one was white. And after seeing that, she was seeing, all the time she was saying, oh my God, the greenish one is my Lord Ram, and the white one is Lakshman. So after seeing them, she was all the time remembering the past time, and thinking about Lord Ram and the Lord Ram and the Lakshman, right? Just seeing at the flowers. Right? So that's how she was remembering Lord Ram. The second example is like Mother Yashoda. So the Mother Yashoda is the mother of Lord Krishna, right? So her whole day is, just revolving around, serving Krishna, right? In the morning, she used to wake up Krishna, she used to bathe Krishna, and she used to, dress Krishna, she used to make beautiful design on his body, on his face. Then she used to feed Krishna, and when he used to go to, the Govardhan or in the forest for, cow herding, so whole day she was just remembering Krishna in a separation, when he will come. So she just wanted to meet Krishna, and when Krishna used to come, she used to just embrace her, and she used to kiss her, right? So she had so much love, right? All the time she was remembering Krishna, she was, meditating on the form of Krishna, she was, glorifying Krishna with her songs and words, while churning the butter, while making the yogurt and everything. So she was just thinking about Krishna, right? So such kind of love she has for Krishna. So she was remembering all the time for Krishna, and of course she was the eternal mother of the Lord Krishna, right? So that's why her whole life was revolving around Krishna. Right? And the third example is of Srimati Radharani. Right? So Srimati Radharani is the highest level of love for Krishna. And when what reminds her of Krishna? It's very beautiful. So anything around her which is black in color, so that reminds her of Krishna. Can you see like what is black? Like Chaitanya is wearing black color jackets and black hair. Yeah. So anything which is black, whenever she used to see black, she used to remember Krishna. Right? So what is black? So whenever she used to see her blackish complexion hair in the mirror, she used to remember Krishna. Whenever she used to see herself in the mirror, she used to remember Krishna. Right? Whenever she used to see the mascara in her eyes, which is black, right, or kajal, she used to remember Krishna. Whenever she used to see the musk dot on her, chin, she used to remember Krishna. Right. Whenever she used to see the bumblebee, the bumblebee is black in color. The moment she used to see the bumblebee, she used to remember Krishna. That reminds her of Krishna. Right? And whenever she used to wear the bluish, bluish sapphire sari, that used to reminds her of Krishna. Right? Whenever she used to wear a necklace which is sapphire bluish in color, so that used to remind her of Krishna. Right? Her necklaces, her bangles, everything that she used to wear, so that that gives a reminder of Krishna. Okay. And there was one gopi, Shamala. Okay, the gopi's name is Shamala. Whenever she used to see that gopi, she used to faint. Because when she used to see the Shamala gopi, she used to see Sham. So Sham means Krishna. And whenever she used to see that gopi, so she used to faint. Right? So can you imagine so much love she had for Krishna? Right? When she used to see the Tamal trees in Vrindavan, so they are in black in complexion. So she used to that gives a reminder of Krishna. Right? Whenever she used to see the blue dark lotus in Yamuna, so that gives a reminder of Krishna. Right? So everywhere she is seeing, she is just remembering Krishna, right? Because whatever she is seeing dark, she is remembering Krishna. Right? When there is a night sky, so she is remembering Krishna. Like the sky is dark, right? So she is remembering Krishna. She used to like a winter nights, because in a winters the darkness, the evening comes early and the morning become like the sun rises late, right? So there is a big night, right? So she used to like the winters because like there is a big night, dark night. So she used to remember Krishna, just seeing the dark night. Can you imagine if she is in the Berlin?
Yes, this is what I was thinking about.
So there is hardly a sunlight, So the sunlight is only for 3 to 4 hours, right? So that means if she is in the Berlin all the time, what she will do? She will remember Krishna, right? And whenever she sees a male deer, so this male deer which is called as Krishna Sar, okay? So which is a golden deer with a black dots. So whenever just because it is in Sanskrit, it's called as Krishna Sar, whenever she used to see that deer, she used to faint. Just because like his name is Shri Shri Jagannath Sutta Maharani ki, Gauranitai ki, Prabhupada ki. So because since this deer has name Krishna Sa, so the moment she used to see Krishna Sa, so she used to remember Krishna, right? So anything that is dark in color, so that used to remind her of Krishna, right? And what about when she is angry? So when she gets angry with Krishna, she doesn't want to see anything dark, right? So basically, like when she is angry, she doesn't want to see anything dark. When she sees herself in mirror, what she sees? Her beautiful hair, right? And now she is angry with Krishna. She gets remembrance of Krishna. She breaks the mirror, and once mirror is broken, it is broken into 1,000 pieces. What she is seeing? Reflection of 1,000 reflection of her hair, right? And after seeing the 1,000 reflections, she is like again remembering Krishna. So she cannot avoid remembering Krishna, right? So and when she is angry, she doesn't put the musk dot, which is in black. She doesn't put the mascara, right? When she is angry, she doesn't wear the bluish sari. She wears the red sari, right? She doesn't wear the sapphire necklace. She wears the pearl necklace. She wears the ivory bangles, not the sapphire bangles, right? And when she is angry, she doesn't want to see the Shamla Gopi. Because the Shamla Gopi gives a remembrance of Krishna, so she doesn't want to see the Shamla Gopi. Okay? When she is angry, she doesn't go to Yamuna. Right? And the best thing is that she asks all her sakhis to whitewash the tamal trees. So you might be thinking, right, okay, I'm doing, the worst, I'm doing very hard service for Krishna. Can you imagine service of the, girlfriends of Radharani? So their service is to whitewash all the tamal trees that are in the Vrindavan. Like, can you imagine how many trees are there? Right? So their sakhis, they think that, okay, like convincing Krishna to talk with Radharani is better than whitewashing all the trees. Right? Okay, we'll ask Krishna to, console Radharani. Right? So when she sees the cloud, the dark cloud, what she does? She opens the umbrella. Because she doesn't want to see the cloud. Right? And in the night, what she sees? When in the dark night, what she sees? She sees the Krishna. Right? So she closes her eyes.
But then again, there's darkness.
So when she closes her eyes, what she see? Again the darkness. Right? So she cannot avoid remembering Krishna, right? So much love she has for Krishna, right? So we are seeing this form of Jagannath, right? So this form of Jagannath, we are seeing that, okay, why the form is, bit strange. It doesn't have hand, it doesn't have leg, it doesn't have ears, right? The face is differently formed, like we have this question, right? But the form of Jagannath represents the love of Radharani for them, like out of love for Radharani, their hand melted, their legs, went inside their body, they couldn't able to speak, right? The Krishna, Balram and Subhadra Maharani. So because of the love for, because after seeing the love of, Radharani, so they become like this. So the form of Jagannath is not any, any usual godly form. It is a form of love. Right? Because of the love for, Radharani, they have this special form that represent the love in the separation. Right? So that's how we can remember Krishna at the time of death. Like, throughout our life we can remember with a different, by hearing we can remember Krishna, by chanting we can remember Krishna, and by remembering Krishna at the time of death, that's how we can get rid of cycle of birth and death. So today I want to do one special meditation on the form of the Lord. So maybe can we ask everyone to come in the temple hall, whoever is in the kitchen also.
Absolutely.
It takes 5 minutes. Amitabh is coming. You want to join the meditation for 5 minutes?
Yes, what?
Okay. So basically, if the rings, there is a ringing of door, So Sumit Prabhu will open. So you all doesn't bother, okay? Don't get disturbed by that. So some what you call disclaimer. Okay, so sit comfortably. So every day we do some meditation on chanting of the holy name. So I decided we'll do some different meditation. Okay, so close your eyes. Don't open at any condition. Okay. So close your eyes. Sit comfortably. Okay. So now we are doing the meditation on the form of the Lord. Okay, form of the Krishna. Okay. So, let's start with the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna's lotus feet are very soft. All the auspicious marks are there at the sole of the Krishna's lotus feet. As we go up, Krishna's legs are very nicely formed. Krishna has got very nicely formed knees. His thighs are very strong, well built. Here he is wearing a yellow garment which is very lustrous, very effulgent, and it has a beautiful ornaments on a beautifully formed leg. Krishna is also having a jewel belt on his waist. Krishna has got very deep navel. Krishna has got very thin, well-formed waist. As we go up, Krishna has got broad chest. A chest which is like a palace of love for his devotees. And that chest is always inviting devotees to come and reside in that palace. Krishna's chest is having Kaustuba mani, which is very effulgent and lustrous like the sun. Krishna is having patch of hair on his chest, which is turning to our left. Krishna is also having golden line on his chest, which is a form of Mother Lakshmi on the chest, having desire to participate in a Ras Leela someday. Krishna has got very strong, well-built shoulders. Krishna has this beautiful arms. He's got the armlet as well as a bracelet on his arm. Krishna is also wearing very nice pearl rings on his fingers. Krishna's hands are very soft. There is a reddish hue on his palm, and these hands are abode of all the protection, all the auspiciousness. Those are Krishna's arms. Well built yet very soft arm. Then Krishna's neck is so beautiful again. There are 3 lines on his neck, and these 3 lines signifies he is the Lord of the 3 planetary system. Upper, lower, and the middle planetary system. Krishna has extremely beautiful face. Krishna has got a beautiful formed chin, where there are beautiful designs made by Mother Yashoda of flowers and leaves. Krishna's cheeks, again they are very gorgeous. They are very sparkling. Krishna is wearing a shark-shaped earring on his ear, and they are getting reflected on his cheeks. Krishna's cheeks have the various kinds of design made by Mother Yashoda. Krishna has got straight, thin, well-formed nose. Krishna's lips, they are as red as bimba fruit. Krishna's teeth are like a pearl. Although he has got a teeth, at the same time they are very soft. Krishna's eyebrows are thick and well-shaped. Krishna is having lotus eyes. These lotus eyes are stretched till the ears, and Krishna's eyes are quite restless, as if always anxious to search for his devotees, shower his grace upon his devotees. On his forehead, he has very beautiful tilak. This tilak signifies lotus feet of his devotees, which Krishna always anxious to put on his forehead. On his forehead, there are also different wonderful designs made by Mother Yashoda. There are curly locks of hair falling on his forehead. They are bouncy on his forehead. They are very silky, very glossy. They are black and bluish in hue. Krishna has got an earring that are made up of pearls and gold, and They are always dangling affairs as if assisting Krishna in his walk with the music. Krishna's here, they are coming to his shoulder. Gives him a feel that he is actually like a lion. Just like a lion has a hair till his shoulder, he has this glossy, silky, bluish hue hair coming till his shoulder. Krishna is wearing a beautiful turban made up from the Vrindavan flowers. Krishna is also wearing a peacock feather, signifies his defeat from Srimati Radharani. When he was dancing with Srimati Radharani defeated Krishna, and as a matter of joy from a defeat from Srimati Radharani, he put this peacock feather on his forehead, on his head, declaring his defeat from his devotees. In this way, the Krishna is having such a beautiful, amazing, gorgeous form, which is all attractive. I pray to this lotus form, I pray to his lotus feet, I pray unto him that may my heart always dwell on this beautiful, transcendental, all attractive form of the Lord Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna. You can open the eyes. How was the meditation?
Super.
So it's always good to meditate on the form of the Lord. So we do this mantra meditation. So of course, once we advance in mantra meditation, that is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So over the period, we'll start seeing the form of the Lord and the pastime of the Lord in our vision or in our chanting. So that is called as a pure chanting of the holy name. Right? So that's how we can remember Krishna throughout our life in all the activities. And if we quit in that consciousness, then we'll go home back to Godhead. Right? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
The timing was there. Now the bell rings.
Yeah.
What is Rupa Dhyan then? Is it also a process and devotional service? What we did now was the same, but is it like, what is it?
Yeah, so basically for the Kali Yuga, Rupa Dhyan is not recommended. Okay.
Huh?
No, means like Kali Yuga, the chanting of the holy name is recommended. The Rupa Dhyan is byproduct of that. So it will always start with Nam, Roop, Gun, Leela. Right? Nam means the name, then form, qualities, and pastimes. Okay. So if we chant the holy name of Krishna, so in our chanting we can see the form of Krishna. And once we see the form of Krishna, we'll start seeing the qualities of Krishna. And once we see the qualities of Krishna, we'll start seeing the pastime of Krishna. So it is always like this. So of course, you can sometimes meditate on the form of Krishna, but it is more recommended to chant holy name. Of course, like when you are traveling, when you are not chanting, you can meditate on the beautiful form of Krishna. So that is always recommended. But the first thing is chanting the holy names. But some gurus, they only suggest the Rupa Dhyan, so that's not recommended for Kali Yuga, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came specially to preach the holy names. So by chanting the holy names, over the period you will start seeing all these symptoms, like you'll start seeing the form, qualities, and the pastimes. So that is byproduct basically.
By chanting, when we take darshan every time, so sometimes we remember the darshan that we had, so that is also...
Yeah, that's good, if you are saying. You had one question earlier, right? What was the question?
I think we are talking so much of remembering Krishna at the time of death, then what shall happen if we do that, and what shall happen if we don't do that?
Oh, okay. So on Wednesday I also gave a class on similar subject. So in the purport, Prabhupada was saying, if you are able to remember Krishna at the time of death, then for sure you'll go home back to Godhead, right? And Prabhupada also writes that if you are not able to think anything, but there is no guarantee that you will go home back to Godhead. Right? So basically, let's say if you are attached to something, so based on your consciousness, you'll get the next body, right? As we were discussing, if you are attached to money, or you are envious person, so you'll become snake in next life, right? If you are too lusty, you'll become a puppy of your girlfriend, right? In the next life, puppy dog your girlfriend, right?
That people are even now.
Yeah. So basically based on the consciousness you'll get a next body, right? And if you are practicing a devotional service and if let's say you completed 90% of the devotional service, so in next life you don't have to start from 0, so you have to start from 90 only, right? So you'll start 91, then once you complete 100 you'll go home back to Godhead. You don't have to start from 0 like what we do in the material world, right? So if you not able to remember Krishna, but if you are performing devotional service, so still like there is no loss for you, right? Because still you'll get a better body and you'll complete the devotional service and you'll go home back to Godhead. And also one day one of disciple of Prabhupada asked him, like, Prabhupada, like, what if I am not able to remember Krishna at the time of death? Okay, Prabhupada disciple asked him. So Prabhupada asked him, are you chanting 16 rounds? He said yes. Are you following 4 regulative principles? He said yes. So Prabhupada, but what if I am not able to remember Krishna at the time of death? So Prabhupada again asked, have you chanting 16 rounds? So he said yes. Are you, practicing 4 regulative principles? He said yes. But again the disciple asked, but what Prabhupada, like, what if I am not able to remember Krishna at the time of death? So Prabhupada again said, are you chanting 16 rounds? Are you following the 4 regulative principles? So this disciple was not so, satisfied with Prabhupada's answer, what the answer Prabhupada gave. So Prabhupada said, like, if you chant the 16 rounds and if you follow the 4 regulative principles, I will bring the remembrance of Krishna at the time of death.
Yes.
You don't have to worry.
Very well.
So we are like, remembrance is a byproduct of chanting and hearing. Right? So as I think like on Wednesday also we were discussing, right? What's the difference between chanting, hearing, and remembering, right? So hearing means like giving your ears, like ear is more active, but at the same time you are also remembering. Okay, chanting means like glorifying the God or chanting His names, right? And remembrance is more, remembering on meditating on the Lord, right? And as we discuss about this 9 stages of devotional service, even if you follow any of them, still you will go home back to Godhead. Because like there is always, all, like, even though you follow one process, still the other processes are already involved. Right? For example, you are doing deity worship, so that is called as your archana, but you are also remembering Krishna, right? At the same time, right? You are doing, pada sevanam, like you are serving the lotus feet, still you are remembering Krishna. So all the processes has, the other processes already involved, right? So that's why like more important is hearing and chanting the holy names, and the remembrance is a byproduct, so that will come automatically. So you don't have to worry about that. So any other questions? Okay, so now I'll stop the class here. Okay, so now we'll have blessings, and then we'll have prasadam. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.